Okay, so you know how we're always saying parenting is a journey, right? Well, today we're diving into one of those areas that can feel like a jungle gym, kinda. Figuring out how to respond when your kid, isn't exactly being truthful.
Right, right. Definitely a common one.
Yeah, and we had a listener write in asking for some deeper strategies, not just how to catch a lie, but how to help their kid really get that whole honesty thing.
Makes sense. It's
Yeah.
not something we're born knowing, right?
Right.
Like a child's, their understanding of honesty, it really develops over time. Kind of goes hand in hand with, just growing up in general.
Exactly. And one thing the experts we looked at this week really emphasized was empathy, which I'll be honest, sometimes that's the last thing on my mind when I'm.
Starts to speak at the same time as host speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dealing with a lie. But why is that so important as a starting point?
Well, think about it this way. Imagine you made a mistake, right? And instead of someone trying to understand, they just, bam, lay into you with blame. Kids, especially littler ones, a lot of times they're telling fibs out of fear. Fear of punishment or maybe just, letting you
They
down.
don't want to disappoint you.
Exactly. They're still figuring out that whole impulse control thing,
Uh,
consequences, honesty.
but
It's a lot.
totally. It's like they're trying to build a house using only a spoon and I don't know, pool noodle.
Right. The tools aren't quite there yet.
Yeah. So that's where I think it was one of the articles mentioned, using those open-ended questions. Could you speak to that a bit? Yeah. So instead of did you do this,
Mm-hmm.
which can feel kind of confrontational, asking something like, hey, what happened here? It gives them space to explain.
It's less threatening,
Exactly. It's about inviting them to share their perspective.
which kind of naturally leads into another point that came up about not labeling the child, but the behavior, right?
Oh, huge one.
Hmm.
Calling a kid a liar, that can really stick with them.
Yeah.
It's like, you mess up a project at work, you don't want to be labeled a failure, right? You want to know what you did wrong.
Right. Address the action.
Yes. So instead of you're a liar, it's more like, it makes me sad when you aren't truthful with me because honesty is important in our family.
You're sending the message that, this behavior isn't who they are as a person. So then how do we bridge that? Okay, we've addressed the lie, but how do we actually, guide them toward honesty in the future? The source mentioned logical consequences, which always sounds good in theory.
Here, sure.
But what does that actually look like?
So think of it like a logical consequence. It's directly related to the action. Say your kiddo lies about brushing their teeth. A natural consequence might be, okay, well, looks like we don't have time for a bedtime story tonight. We got to get those pearly whites brushed.
Because they have to actually brush their teeth. I see, I see.
Exactly. So it's not about punishment, really. It's more about helping them connect the dots between choices and what happens afterwards.
Cause and effect.
Yes. And the other thing, the big thing, is consistency. If you're only doing this, sometimes
They're not going to, yeah.
it sends mixed messages, right?
Yeah.
It makes it hard for them to trust that there will be a consequence.
Which could even backfire, right? Then they might lie more because they figure, maybe I'll get away with it this time.
Exactly. And this is where, it really highlights why we have to walk the walk too. Kids are like little honesty detectives.
Oh, they're always watching. I swear they pick up on everything.
Right. So if we're modeling honesty ourselves, even when it's tough.
Even when we're like, ugh, should I tell the truth here?
Exactly. Those are the moments they're really learning from us.
Way more than from, us lecturing them about honesty, I'm sure.
100%. Actions speak louder.
So as we kind of start to wrap this up here, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to take away from all of this?
That's a good one. Okay, I'd say this. The next time your kiddo isn't truthful, try to see it as an opportunity. It's not just about correcting a behavior. It's a chance to really connect with them, and show them what honest, open communication looks like in action.
That is such great advice. It really is a journey, this whole parenting thing. To everyone listening, thanks for diving in with us, and we'll catch you next time.